Hello, happy new year. I have no excuse. I wanted to get chatty today and get ready because I got a comment on my last video, which was the haul from all the things I picked up during the Sephora, like all the sales that they were having at the end of the year. And I really wanted to use some of the products that I picked up because somebody asked for it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that in this video. And while we're getting ready, I want to talk about what this year, not exactly resolutions, but just really like a lifestyle change that I want to focus on permanently. Not just for this year, but like I want to focus on this permanently. I have been underwhelmed with the makeup that has been coming out for the last little bit of time, with the exception of like exciting fun brands. Like I just recently at the end of the year, I promised myself I'm not purchasing eyeshadow palettes. I was gonna do like a collection video, declutter video, but I had no patience. I was getting so frustrated because as I was pulling makeup out of my drawers, I was like, another neutral eyeshadow palette, another neutral eyeshadow palette. And it's like, this is why we can't, or I can't continue. I can't continue doing this. I can't take this anymore. I guess I will start priming my face. I'm trying to use up the Too Faced Hangover Primer and the Smashbox Primerizer. So I'm just gonna mix those two together. I was outside earlier doing some yard work, which, wow. This is why people can charge so much money to do yard work, because it is hard work and it's frustrating. And if you don't know what you're doing, you will lose your ever-loving mind. But anyways, yeah, I'm just like over it. I'm over, you know, it's my own fault. It's not makeup company's fault or anything like that. If anything, I was the perfect customer because I'm sure a lot of other people did this also, but I'm only speaking for myself. I can only speak for myself. That, you know, how many neutral eyeshadow palettes could one person possibly need? Maybe I could do like those anti-hauls. I'm using the NARS Tinted Moisturizer, the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer, Broad Spectrum SPF 30 Sunscreen in Mykonos. I'm just kind of over the whole, like, how many cream bronzers, how many, you know, liquid or cream blushes do you need? And I guess we don't really need any of it, right? Like, I was one of those people that justified, you know, you work really hard, you should just treat yourself, and it doesn't matter. But you know why it does matter? Because now I'm in a different phase in my life. I am older, conscious of where I'm spending my money. When I make purchases now, I want to look at my collection and say, oh, I already have something just like that. Great, I don't need to buy that. So the thought of continuing to purchase, I just feel like, you know, I have other interests now. Like right now, all I care about is, not all I care about. All I care about spending my money on is books, equipment for my garage gym, and I can't justify buying any makeup or skincare or hair care. I've been a goo hoarder. I heard that a long time ago somewhere, and I've never gotten it out of my head. It was like at least 10 years ago. Somebody said goo hoarder, and I am 100% one of those people. I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Ta. I'm not gonna do concealer or anything. I'm totally fine with the coverage that this tinted moisturizer provides. I love it. I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Ta, this is Major Headlines blush palette, and I'm just gonna go into, I do like this a lot. I didn't think that I was going to get my money's worth out of it simply because I'm not a big blush person, but I retract that. Which, by the way, I think it's really cool that you use the powder first and then the cream. I'm gonna go in with the She's Baked shade on a foundation brush. I don't know, I just start grabbing brushes and whatever. But like now, for example, the new thing is Refer brushes. I have too many brushes, and although I want to try Refer brushes, I can't justify spending more money on, okay, that was a lot. Yeah, this stuff is pigmented, just trust the process, it's okay. Don't be alarmed just yet. But I can't justify spending, I'm gonna do the whole like blush on the nose thing. It's just, I can't justify bringing more shit into my collection that I just don't need. And I guess in theory, we don't need any of this makeup stuff, but you know, to each its own. You like what you like. I'm just gonna go back in with my foundation brush, and I'm just gonna do little circular motions. This is just how I like to do it. I want to spend my money elsewhere. I'm on a very low/no buy. because I have other goals. I want to build my home gym. I want to grow my book collection. No, I have different interests right now. Okay, so yeah, it was scary when I first put it on, but we're good. This is where we're at. I didn't even set my face, but you don't really need it for this product. The Dior Contour Dior Backstage Contour Palette. I really like using this shade. I know I said in that video I was kind of like ranting, but like I really wish that this came in more shades. This is like brand new. I think this has been out for a while, if I'm not mistaken. I just jumped on the bandwagon recently. So yeah, I really do like that. That's all I'm doing. I'm just using it to, I'm just gonna push this up. But yeah, I don't need, if you guys want me to do a collection, tour, whatever video, I can totally do that. But as much as I enjoyed them and was anticipating getting them when I was, you know, younger and, you know, I started really buying makeup and I would buy everything that would come out, as much as I did enjoy that, I didn't need to do that. It was just like this overwhelming FOMO feeling. I'm also using the Melt contour stack. I picked this up during that sale also, and I didn't include it in there. I don't know why. It's one of their like stacking, you know, but I don't know. I'm kind of ranty because I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, because this is really how I've been doing my makeup, like every time I do it anyways. Just super quick. I don't want, the thing I say that takes me the longest time is like my eyebrows. But yeah, I don't know. I'm over the spending crazy amounts of money on things that I don't need. Like, okay, a new foundation came out from NARS. That is awesome. I really enjoy NARS foundations, obviously. I just used one in this video. But I have so many foundations that are not finished to replace yet. And then what do I look like? Like, nobody's coming to me for reviews. I'm not a review channel. Like, I'm just somebody that wants to do videos on YouTube. So it's like, what am I doing buying every single new foundation that comes out? Like, when you start having to throw away like half of your makeup collection, not half, I guess that's an exaggeration, but when you have to start throwing away a bunch of products, like barely used products out of your makeup collection, it does kind of hurt my feelings, because there's really not much that I can do about it but look at it and be like, wow, yeah, we're not doing that again. But yeah, all I care about is using the products that are already existing in my collection, getting my money's worth out of them, and then moving on. And then once they're all gone, when all my foundations are gone, when all my concealers are gone, I'm never going to go through all my eyeshadow palettes. It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying I'm never purchasing another eyeshadow palette again. I mean, I did just purchase at the end of December. I purchased the Glamlite Cherry Slushy and Blue Raspberry Slushy palette, just because I have a blue and a red palette from another company that I no longer support. I'm sure it wouldn't be very hard to figure out who that is, but I don't want to get sued or something. I have no idea. So I wanted an all blue and an all red palette to replace those, because I will never use those again. And then I also picked up the Wine and the Dirty Martini palette from Glamlite. And then the last one that I got at the very end of December was the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I've played with all of them and I wanted to do a video on them, but I just couldn't refrain. Like, I couldn't hold back from using it before doing a video. And the end of the year was just so crazy. So I didn't get around to it. But this is pretty much my makeup, honestly. I could show you the Powder No Powder from Dior also is really, really nice. I'm not gonna lie, it's really nice. But this is like the kind of thing I'm talking about. Why do I need 7 other pressed powders? Why did I have to go and buy them off of impulse when I could have just picked up one of these, maybe one other one, maybe a more glowy one, a more matte one? It's just so much, and I am one person. It's just overwhelming. It's overwhelming, and when you look at it in like dollar amounts, it's even more sad, because you think about all the things that you shoulda, coulda, woulda spent your money on, and you didn't. So this is the Powder No Powder. Everybody's different, and if you know you really love makeup and you want to collect makeup and you want to have variety, I have more than enough variety. I don't need to buy makeup for the rest of my life. I never needed to buy as much makeup as I actually have right now. Anyways, in the first place, but we are here, and all I can do now is just make better choices going forward. And I think a lot of makeup people can relate, because I think a lot of us did the same thing. We impulse bought a lot of purchases because our favorite YouTubers or our favorite whoever was telling us that it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread, since the last neutral eyeshadow palette. Just a quick chatty ranty video. I use a couple products, but this is just like a big old pimple. It's okay. I'll probably come back and do like the lashes and stuff later. Maybe I could do like eyeshadow and stuff later, but right now I have to get back to work, and I'll see you later. Bye. Okay, I'm back. Earlier I had to go to work, that's why I was kind of rushing, and but now I'm back, and I want to finish this video because I played back the video that I filmed earlier before I started work, and I was just rambling the whole time and not really sticking to, I wasn't really sticking to the point of the video. I'm still wearing all the same products that I was wearing earlier. What I was getting at is just that from like 2011, I became super obsessed with the makeup community at a very young age. Like that was over 10 years ago. I was 16, 17 at the time, and I had a full-time job, and I just wanted to spend all my money on makeup. And with that comes, for me specifically, I'm kind of like a hoarder. Especially when I start calculating how much money I spent on something, I can't justify letting it go if it was a lot of money. And even sometimes when it's a pretty affordable product, I'm always just like trying to find another use for it, or trying to find a reason to keep it in my collection. And now that I'm older, and now that I don't want all this clutter, and I don't want to hoard all this makeup that I don't use. If I was like hoarding makeup that I like live and die for, then that would be a different story. But the makeup that I was holding on to for all these years is just makeup that I'm not using, I'm not reaching for, or that I have replaced with others. Under my desk, I have a whole pile of makeup that hasn't been touched in years. And it's perfectly good makeup, or it was perfectly good makeup, hardly dented, like hardly used, and I can't justify keeping it. I don't want to use them. I want to use other things that I have in my collection that are maybe newer or that aren't as old as the products that I want to get rid of. I'm talking like Naked palette, Lorac palette. You guys remember like that era of eyeshadow palettes, where these neutral palettes, like everybody freaked out over them. They would be sold out and it would be all this like hype around them, but they were just a neutral eyeshadow palette. Whereas like now if you go on any makeup news page, all you see is people saying another neutral eyeshadow palette, where back then we were like living and dying for them. We weren't saying, I don't remember seeing a lot of people saying another neutral eyeshadow palette, another neutral eyeshadow palette. It was just like, you know, the product would sell out and it would be like this whole big thing. That's just not, because I did that then, I don't want to continue doing that now, because when you're an adult, or even if you're not an adult, if you're spending money purchasing these things and then you're constantly like pretty much replacing them immediately when the next new thing comes out, and then you just throw that one to the side and it starts collecting dust. And maybe that's not the case for everyone, but I know for me, the way that I was purchasing was buying into the hype, FOMO, missing out on like what everybody was talking about. Even though then I wasn't doing YouTube, I wasn't reviewing makeup. I mean, I could recommend a product to a friend or a coworker, and stuff like that, but it wasn't that deep, and I was acting like it was like the end all be all for me to purchase all these products. But there comes a point in time where, I mean, if you're a makeup collector, I'm not going to shame anybody. If you're a makeup collector, that's what makes you happy and brings you peace, then by all means do it. But it was having the adverse effect on me now for the last couple of years, really. But now especially, where it's like, I want to use the things in my collection. And it's not just makeup. Same thing with skincare. I don't need to have 6 acids in rotation. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this acid all the way up. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to move on to the next one. I mean, like, it's just so excessive, and it's just so much stuff where it's like, now looking back, I wish I had a favorite foundation, maybe a matte one and like a more dewy one, I wish I had a warm bronzer and a cool contour. And like that it was just more simple than looking at this really large desk and all the drawers are filled up. I mean, not filled to the brim as they were before I decluttered my collection, but it's still too much. And even though I know I just said, like, I purchased the Glamlite palettes at the end of the year because I'd never tried them before, and because I was obsessively buying so much, like, mainstream makeup, like, I didn't really start trying indie brands until recently. You know, I feel like I kind of missed out on a lot. Like, I was consuming a lot of, like, buying a lot of products, but I missed out on a whole world, like, a whole other world of makeup that, you know, is indie makeup and really good stuff that's out there because I was just following, you know, YouTube videos, my favorite, you know, beauty influencers and Instagram, and like to keep tabs on like what's like the newest of new, because there's a good chance of that I already have something like that in my collection, just because it's not the biggest collection in the world, but it's big enough, way bigger than one person can use. And because of that, I want to make smart purchases. I want to make purchases that I feel good about. So I'm not necessarily doing a project pan or like maybe a shop my stash. I'm not really sure what I'm doing as far as like YouTube content, because I know I'm not going to be hauling a bunch of stuff and reviewing new makeup. That's just not going to happen. And there's a lot of people, that's kind of the point, that you know, they're constantly reviewing brand new makeup that comes out, and that's just not for me anymore. I don't really have much else to talk about besides that I don't really know what direction this channel's going to go. I was thinking of doing like a makeup fossil edition. Things that they're basically fossils in the makeup world. I still have my original Naked palettes, and a lot of other palettes that I remember there was like this big craze around, and now I never hear anybody talking about them anymore because it's always the next best thing, the next new thing. Like, makeup is expensive. Makeup is expensive. And it just seems a little excessive to keep purchasing foundations or anything really when I have bottles and bottles of foundation in my drawers right now that are not used up. I think I want to use one of the palettes that I picked up from Glamlite. Probably like a purple look or something. I want to play with purple. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, am I ever, you know, are you ever going to, again, unless you're like a working makeup artist, and I know that obviously somebody has to do it, like, and there are a lot of YouTubers that do it. They review, you know, the newest of the new collections and palettes and all that. And I'm so grateful that we have access to that before we make purchases. But for me, and I can only speak for myself, when I see fun new things come out, like, I get FOMO and I start thinking, well, maybe I want that too. Like, they make it, you know, it looks so good on them, and or, you know, they had a really good experience with this brand or this product and I want to check it out too. But you don't always have to do that. A lot of times if you just look in your own collection, you will probably, if you have an expansive, like obscene amount of makeup, there's a chance that you'll find something similar in your collection that's like already existing. So yeah, these are the palettes I picked up from Glamlite. I picked up the Wine palette, the Dirty Martini palette, the Blue Raspberry palette, and the Cherry Icy palette. I really am liking the greens in the Dirty Martini palette. But I think I want to go with purple from the Wine palette, which Wine's like a deeper red burgundy color, but it's okay. We'll let it slide. But yeah, I don't know. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Like, I am almost like, I'm just sick of it. I just have so much, and that's nobody's fault, obviously, but my own. I feel like I need to make use of what I already have existing in my collection, and maybe it's not forever. Like, maybe it's just for now, but I just don't see myself, not when I have other goals and other, you know, I've always been like an all-in kind of person, and I don't think that that's very healthy, because you don't need to have everything. Like, when I know I'm running low on all my foundations and I've gone through all of my foundations, then I can decide, you know, am I going to buy another foundation or tinted moisturizer or, you know, concealer, whatever, once I get to that point. But until I do get to that point, I'm not going to keep purchasing a bunch of foundations when I haven't even used what I already have existing in my collection. And it's like, and okay, if you don't like the products that you have in your collection, then you need to phase them out. Like, give them to friends, give them to family, like donate them if they're unopened, whatever. And then go from there. But I feel like just the constantly hoarding, like that's something that I've always had an issue with, and like not wanting to let things go. And I don't think that's healthy. So that's just kind of what I'm on this year. I did want to have a beauty related channel on YouTube. That's kind of why I started this channel. I think I mostly started this channel as like some form of therapy or something, to be honest. I really only use 2 shades. I really love Glamlite, and this is one of those things, like, if I wouldn't have purchased so many other palettes from other I've only used so far, if I wouldn't have purchased so much from other like mainstream companies, I probably would have found them sooner, and I could have enjoyed these amazing shadows sooner. I used Earthly all over my, kind of all over the eye, and then I used Pour It Up in the outer. If anybody needs to hear this, but you don't need all the stuffs all the time, because every time you blink there's a new something, you know. Every time you think you found your holy grail anything, there's a new something coming out. And then I'm just going with the shade Malbec right there. Really enjoy this Glamlite formula. I know that these aren't brand new. I think they're like newer. I think the icy ones are the newest collection from Glamlite, but I really do like Glamlite. This one always feels like, every time I look at this palette, Annette's Makeup Corner said the same thing, this like bronzy shade looks kind of like out of place in this palette. I feel like I wish they would have put like maybe a more reddish glitter or shimmer or something over here instead of this like Chardonnay shade. But either way, it is a beautiful palette. I haven't been disappointed with anything. I've already tried all of these multiple times, and I'm really happy that I purchased them. I don't know if I want to add more. Actually, you know what? There's a new episode of Euphoria out today as I'm filming this, so maybe I will keep this on when I go and watch Euphoria. Okay, and I guess really the last thing, I think that's pretty much it for the eyes. I don't feel like doing anything else. Maybe I should go in the lower lash line. Should I? Should I leave it like this? Maybe I'll go in right here. Go back in with a Malbec. I don't know, I don't drink wine. Ah, fuck it. I guess the last thing I want to show you, which my thoughts have changed because I wore these for longer. This Magnetic Felt Tip Eyeliner pen was really expensive, and honestly it sucks. It transfers so bad. Lids vary, hooded lids, that, you know, my lash line will touch up here in my crease if I'm like completely relaxed, and it just transfers so bad. And for how expensive this was, I will never purchase this ever again. I think it's too late to return it. I already have it, but this was like, I'm pretty sure in the $40 range. And I'm sure that I could have bought another magnetic liner to be just as amazing. Another thing is that you have to kind of goop this on pretty thick, because otherwise the lashes will not stick. You can't do like a nice little fine point, or the lashes literally just won't stay. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing in the world. I've had other, but when I'm paying $40 for a specific product, you know, to make my lashes stay on, or otherwise I can't use the lashes, that's kind of frustrating. Otherwise the lash will stick. These are really dramatic. They're really long and really dramatic. And I know that they're like supposed to be more natural, and maybe for people that don't have hooded lids, they wouldn't be as dramatic, but for me, I have super hooded eyes and I don't have a lot of eyelid space, so it's kind of easy for it to like eat up my whole face. But I do like them either way, and for me, like, it's easier and more convenient. The only thing is they're easier and more convenient than traditional lashes, but at the same time, the whole eyeliner, magnetic liner transferring to my eyelids, like, that's not fun, because it's also very hard to get off. So like at the end of the night, first of all, once it transfers, if you're like out and about somewhere, I don't go anywhere. But if you were wearing these out and about somewhere, and it transfers on your eyelid, how are you gonna get that off without completely destroying the rest of your face of makeup? Because it's really hard to get off on top of everything else. Yeah, these are pretty, okay, they're pretty dramatic. I don't care. It's just makeup. Makeup is fun. But yeah, I wish that they were kind of shorter because Baby Girl, honestly, I think I had said, oh my bad. That's why they look even more dramatic. I put Lucky on. I wanted to put Baby Girl on because in my last video I had said that Lucky was a more natural lash. I was wrong. On the models, I think, on the page they look more natural, but on me, they look very long. And maybe I'm just not putting them on right because I honestly, before this, I had only ever used, you know, traditional lashes. It is what it is, baby. They're already on. And it's funny because after this, I'm just gonna go lay in bed and watch Euphoria. It is what it is. I'm not gonna keep messing with them. But yeah, Lucky's definitely more dramatic than Baby Girl on me. Yeah. I'm gonna go with a little bit more of the Dior Powder No Powder. I use the shade 3N, 3 Neutral, and it is a good match for me. And I guess these Dior palettes, they get hard pan if you're not careful. Like if your brush is, but like see how shiny I am up here, my forehead and between my brows. And I do have a little bit of fallout. Not anything too bad or too crazy that I'll give a shit about. I'll just say it's the vibe I'm going for. You know what? Speaking of makeup that I don't use, you guys remember the Moonlight Palette from ABH? This has been one of those products I've refused to let go of. And now I'm going to use it in this video. Even though it's not new and it's not from my Sephora haul. I'm trying to figure out which one is the... I'm gonna go in with Blue Moon down here. I've never actually even used this like out of my house, by the way. Oh, that's barely even noticeable. Oh my gosh, and something else that I would do, I would buy a product and then say, oh, when I had like special occasion products, and then all that would happen is I would never end up using them. So I would say, oh, when I go to this event, or if I go on a date night or something like that, I'll use this, or I'll wear this perfume. And it's like, what if those things like never happen? Like, what if a special occasion never comes and then the product spoils or goes bad before you even get the chance to like get your money's worth out of them? So that just sounds really lame, and I'm not doing that anymore. So for this year, no impulse buying, low/no buy. You know, debt payoff situation so I can completely equip my home gym, read more books, and yeah, so that's it. That's all I have. What do you guys think? I think this is like a little much for my norm, but it's fun and I am here for it. Because it's not the norm, and I'm using things, and I'm having fun, and I'm talking to myself, which is like what I do all the time anyways. So I hope it's at least a little bit entertaining for you guys. I'm having a hard time taking myself seriously with these lashes. There has to be another way to position these so that they're not so like this and more like this. We'll figure it out. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. If you guys enjoyed my rambling and my venting, then go ahead and subscribe. If not, let me know in the comments below what you hated about it. And then let me know what your makeup shopping, like what is your formula for makeup shopping? Do you impulse buy? Do you wait to see some reviews? Do you impulse buy after you see some reviews and then don't use the products again for a long time once the next thing comes out? Or like, are you guys not like that?